Hi friends and welcome to my new video. Irregular verb forms. A headache to most learners of English and teachers too, who always complain that the learners are not confident enough in using verb forms, especially when it comes to production, speaking, and writing. So today we will investigate the problem and think about solutions. First of all, I'd like to say that the main problem is that the task itself is difficult because there is a big number of irregular verb forms. It's difficult to memorize all these things, and also the way we deal with the problems. Teachers always try to make things easier, and following this route of simplifying things makes the teachers do the work for the students, which is the biggest mistake. So today we will think of the opposite way, which is moving responsibility from the teacher to the learners, so they themselves find out what to do and they themselves do the work. Now how? Let's now start doing some activities together. Now I will show you a verb list. Have a look at this verb list and try to think why the three verbs are highlighted. Yes, keep, kept, weep, wept, sweep, swept. Why are they highlighted? Yes, because they have the same rhyme. They follow a pattern, or the same pattern. Okay, can you find another example of this pattern in the verb list? Yes, good. Okay, from your knowledge? Yes, okay, so there are a lot of verbs that follow the same pattern. So this could be a first step that you use with your students to elicit the idea of patterning. You elicit, not tell. Okay, the next step. You give students a table like that one or this one, and you ask them to follow this pattern, to find examples from the verb list or from their knowledge that follow this pattern. You list an example and then students do the work. Okay, why? While students are doing this, they try to notice and focus on the form, either spelling or pronunciation. They focus on the form of all the verbs. They check all the verbs and make a decision whether this follows the pattern or not, which provides an opportunity for learning, for memorizing. Okay, the next step or the next activity is more demanding, which is you ask students to create their own patterns, to classify verbs according to things they have in common. They are free now to think about the pattern that they think of. And here I would recommend that the teachers should accept all patterns in case that students are able to justify the reasons for putting these verbs together. For example, I've come across a student who classified read with feed. Why? Feed, fed, read, read. They follow the same or they have the same rhyme. Another student who classified read with cut. When I asked him why, he said read, read, they have the same spelling, cut, they have the same spelling. So I accept both in case work, but on condition that the student is able to justify, to make sure that he thought about this. Okay, so here students create their own patterns. After students create their own patterns, I think they should do this in group because it's demanding activity. They will help each other. After the groups finish, they would visit each other or visit other groups and check other patterns, discuss and try to persuade each other of their patterns, which provides another opportunity to notice, to focus, to discuss, to evaluate their work. Okay, so after that, students now time for production. So I ask the students to look at this poem. Look at the poem. Yes. Can you read it? Yes. Okay. I buy both quote to catch quote. Okay. So here, this way you elicit the pattern of the poem. So the first and two lines have the same rhyme, and they rhyme with the last line. But the second or the third line is not similar to that, is different. So then after you listen this, you ask students to work in pairs in order to invent a poem like this or to create a poem like this. After students finish, they start to display their work on the walls and they go to read, which provides another opportunities. They add comments and they nominate the best poem. Now the lesson has finished. Now, through these activities, students' minds are working. Their minds are not passive. They do mental efforts, which make the language more memorable and retainable. And they make demanding activities and creative activities like choosing the patterns, like inventing a poem. All these things and all this demanding activity, we know that the more demanding the activity is, the more, or the task is, the more memorable the words or the verbs will be. So these are opportunities for learning. You are not teaching, you are providing opportunities for learning. You move the responsibility from you to your students, which is the way that they learn. So, is that enough after the lesson has finished? I think that this is not enough. We need to recycle from time to time, and we need to change the span of time we recycle. So after one day you recycle, then you leave 2 days or 3 days, then recycle again, then you leave a week or 2 weeks, then recycle again. So you extend the span of time between recycling or the first recycling and the second and the third. Ideas for recycling afterwards, after this lesson. So for example, the next lesson you can write a verb pattern on the board and students brainstorm idea or verbs which follow the same pattern. The next one, after 2 or 3 days, you ask students to think of a verb form. In each group they think of a verb form and they follow a pattern, then they exchange, and this provides opportunity to notice different patterns, to recycle different patterns. Another way that you can exploit the text that you have, exploit a story that you have in the course book. And so you ask, after studying the story, you ask the students to underline the verbs and discuss the forms or the different forms of these verbs. Another way is that you provide a story and the verbs in the story are in the present, and then you ask the students to rewrite the story again but in the past tense. So these are all ideas for recycling. Following this route, moving responsibility for your students should be very effective in terms of memorizing. Try this and see whether it works or not. I have tried it a lot and it worked very well. Now we have come to an end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and meet you next week with another example of how not to tell. Thanks so much and see you next week.